Sarcasm, saying the opposite of what you really mean in order to make an unkind joke. Very often it's used that way. Sometimes it is called the lowest form of wit, but some sarcasm can be quite funny, particularly when blended with other humorous remarks. I remember that in Jeeves and Wooster by P.G. Wodehouse, there are lots of funny ways of using sarcasm. Hello, Ida.
Hello, good morning. How's it going?
Ah, fine, thanks. Yeah, I've had one coffee and breakfast.
Hello, Leon.
Hello there. Hi.
But it is quite early in England right now.
No, it's not early. It's 11.
Sorry,
yeah.
I was thinking in the United States. sorry.
Well, you know, it's not. We're not even on GMT time now.
Yeah.
We're now on to British Summer Time, or that's 1 hour in front of GMT.
Yeah.
So now it's 11.
Okay. I was thinking that you were in the United States. Right?
No. I've been in England for 6 months now, more than 6 months. So here we are. Now today I've got something here which is from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I don't know if that rings any bells with anybody. Do you know anything about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
No idea.
No, it's a book and kind of cult science fiction book from some time ago, and we have a listening from it,
yeah,
and also some other exercises.
Can you put the link in the?
Yeah, I'll post the link as well. You can try and open it. I hope you can, because the listening exercise can be done on the page. Although at the moment I would like you to just listen to me read it, and then later you can listen to the American reader as well. So we're going to look at a short extract from a story, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I can go to this page, into this page.
Pardon?
I can go into this page, into this link you have posted in the chat.
Well, I've only just posted it now. So
yeah, but it doesn't go. I don't know why.
Well, it won't open in an instant.
I don't know if it is me or if it is the link or.
Well, no, you have to give it some time, because when you're in a Hangout, quite often if you click on a link which has got lots of media and sound in it, it won't open in a tenth of a second or a second or two. It takes a while. So if you click on it now and just wait for it, because you probably don't really need it, because I'm going to use the screen as well, because I know that sometimes when we're in Hangouts we do have problems if we do too much. So
okay.
I generally find now that the best way for me to work is to open up all of the pages before I start the Hangouts. So I use Chrome for the Hangouts because Chrome is good for Hangouts.
Yeah, me too.
And then I use Firefox for the actual material. And then when I screen share, I don't get that kind of strange Hall of Mirrors, funny, weird thing where you try to screen share the same browser that you're actually using to use for the Hangout, because that goes wrong sometimes and funny things happen. So that's just my way of doing it. I open the pages before the class, I go to the calendar, the schedule, and then I look at the links and open them up first, because they do open quickly if you're out of a Hangout sometimes, but then when you come into a Hangout, there's two big problems. First, the Hangout slows everything down, but secondly, if quite a few people are looking at the link at the same time, that can actually cause a problem too when you're in a Hangout. Anyway, If it opens soon, that's good. And this exercise 1, we have to listen to the reading again before we can answer it about these adverbs. So first thing I wanted to know is whether anybody's heard of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. No, nobody's heard of it.
I've heard.
Have you?
Yes.
Could you turn up your volume a bit?
Younger.
Ben, your volume is a bit low.
I don't know what to do. Really? I will
Yeah.
try to speak a little bit louder. Because
Before, some days ago I spoke to you in class and your sound was much louder.
Yeah. I don't know what is happening right now. I have no idea.
Okay,
But,
so tell us
I'm
about
not
it.
sure. Yeah, The Hitchhiker's Guide from Galaxy, right?
Yes.
It is written by, I think his name is Adams. I'm not sure quite, but it's about it's very strange, bizarre story about the universe and some kind of comedy, and there are a lot of how to say a lot of jokes, and it's very funny a point of view about the universe, about people from the Earth, and so forth. So forth. You know, I'm not how to say, I didn't enjoy while reading it because it's not my cup of coffee, right?
Not my cup of tea. Well, you know, I kind of agree with you,
yeah.
actually. You know, I kind of agree with that because I find that it's quite funny in extracts. Little bits of it, when I see them, I think, haha, that's good, that's funny. But when I read through the whole lot, it just seems to be too much of the same thing, and so it gets too much for me.
Yes.
But a little extract is quite interesting sometimes. One little scene from it. But yes, I find the same. I didn't read it all either. Although some people thought it was marvellous. I liked some of the follow-on ideas which it inspired some other comedy. For example, Red Dwarf on BBC was quite good, about a space vessel. Right, well anyway, let's see if we can just move down, because these are the comprehension questions, true or false, and they're a little tricky because this exercise was in a book for advanced level English. Sometimes you have to really think about what's going on to answer the questions, especially when people are being sarcastic. So if people are being sarcastic, they say something, but they don't really mean it. So there is a little bit of sarcasm in this. One of these people is not actually human. We've got two characters. We've got Arthur Dent and Ford Prefect. Ford Prefect is not actually human. So I'm going to read it. So I'm going to take off the. I'm going to take away the text, shall I, and read it? Because I don't really want you to follow the text so much. I'm going to read it through without sharing the text with you at the moment. So I'm going to stop screen sharing at the moment, and then I'm going to read it first without you reading the text. You can read later when we're looking for the answers. So, okay, I'm going to look at my page and just read it to you. Arthur Dent had absolutely no idea that one of his closest friends was not descended from an ape, but was in fact from a small planet somewhere in the vicinity of Betelgeuse, and not from South London, as he usually claimed. Arthur Dent had never ever suspected this. This friend of his had first arrived on the planet some 15 Earth years previously, and he had worked hard to blend himself into Earth society with, it must be said, some degree of success. For instance, he had spent those 15 years pretending to be an out-of-work actor, which was plausible enough. He had made one careless blunder, though, because he had skimped a bit on his preparatory research. The information he had gathered had led him to choose the name Ford Prefect as being nicely inconspicuous. He was not conspicuously tall. His features were striking, but not particularly handsome. His hair was wiry and gingerish and brushed backwards from the temples. His skin seemed to be pulled backwards from the nose. There was something very slightly odd about him, but it was difficult to say what it was. Perhaps it was that his eyes didn't seem to blink often enough, and when you talked to him for any length of time, your eyes began involuntarily to water on his behalf. Perhaps it was that he smiled slightly too broadly and gave people the unnerving impression that he was about to go for their neck. He struck most of his friends that he had on Earth as an eccentric but harmless. For instance, he would often gate-crash university parties, drink too much, and start making fun of any astrophysicists he could find till he got thrown out. Sometimes he would get seized with oddly distracted moods and stare into the sky as if hypnotized until someone asked him what he was doing. Then he would stare guiltily for a moment, relax and grin. "Oh, just looking for flying saucers," he would joke, and everyone would laugh and ask him what sort of flying saucers he was looking for. "Green ones," he would reply with a wicked grin and laugh wildly for a moment. In fact, what he was really looking for when he stared distractedly into the night sky was any kind of flying saucer at all. The reason he said green was that green was the traditional space livery of the Betelgeuse space fleet. Ford Prefect was desperate that any flying saucer at all would arrive soon, because 15 years was a long time to get stranded anywhere, particularly somewhere as mind-bogglingly dull as the Earth. Later that day, Ford Prefect popped round to see Arthur, who was currently lying down on the ground beside his house, trying to prevent it from being demolished by men with bulldozers from the local town council. The sun was just beginning to dry out the mud that Arthur was lying in. A shadow moved across him. "Hello, Arthur," said the shadow. Arthur looked up and, squinting into the sun, was startled to see that Ford Prefect was standing above him. "Ford, hello, how are you?" "Fine," said Ford. "Look, are you busy?" "Am I busy?" exclaimed Arthur. "Well, I've just got all these bulldozers and things to lie in front of because they'll knock down my house if I don't. But other than that, well, no, not especially. Why?" They don't have sarcasm on Betelgeuse, and Ford Prefect often failed to notice it unless he was concentrating. He said, "Good, in that case, we can talk." So, now, just get the screen back and move it back up to the top here. Now that is a kind of car made by Ford. Does anybody know anything about Ford Prefect? And why he may have chosen a bad name there, Ford Prefect, as inconspicuous. Actually, his choice of name was not very good. If you look on Google for Ford Prefect, maybe you might find why his choice of name is not too good, not too inconspicuous. Does anybody have an idea about that?
What is the word?
It's Ford Prefect. He chose the name Ford. Now, Ford is actually a name which can be a family name or a first name. I knew somebody whose name was Ford, and I know some people have the name Ford for a family name. So technically it's possible to be called Ford, but that would be a silly name, I think. I've heard names like Magnus Magnusson. That seems better than Ford. But there seems to be a problem with the name Ford Prefect. Can anybody find a problem with this name? So Ford for a first name?
Ford is a car name from American company. And prefect is a kind of chief officer or magistrate, no?
Yeah, but the name, well, the Ford company make cars. They have two parts. There's Ford UK and Ford America, and
America.
so for example, the Ford Mustang. Oh, let's see who's making all the big noise at the moment. Gosai, could you just watch your mic at the moment? Just use your mic button, Gosai, and Ahmed, just that's it. Just oh, he's gone. You didn't have to go. You can just stay in the room, but control the mic. That's fine. Yeah. So this is the first interesting question about the inconspicuous choice of his name. There is a car called a Ford Prefect. So that's why. So let's see if we can go and have a look at some of the questions here, and maybe we have to refer again to the text to answer them. So, Ida.
Yeah.
Now, let's see. I'm just moving the screen here. True or false?
The
Number
first
one.
one?
Can you read the question? True or false?
Yeah, of course. Arthur knew that his friend Ford was not from Guildford.
Guildford. Yes, this is the town southwest of London, Guildford.
False.
False.
False. And how do we know that?
Because at the beginning of the test you have read, you have told that Ford was inconspicuous for everybody, and now nobody suspects that he was from other planet.
Yeah, they had no idea.
No idea.
The words "no idea" were there as well, weren't they? Good. Okay, so that's done, and I think we all agree. But if anyone disagrees with anything, then just shout out. So let's go down the line to the second one and see if we can see true or false. Bain, can you try number 2?
Yes, of course. Ford had done a good job of integrating into Earth society. Well, I can guess.
You can say basically or not. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Say what you think. So you say basically it's true.
Basically, it's true. Yeah, because there was a kind of story about his ancestor, and it is an ape, in fact, which had descended from the tree, right?
He had
Something
not,
like that, if I remember good.
That they had no idea that he had not descended from apes, like supposedly we have, according to Charles Darwin. So, in other words, he wasn't human. They had no idea about this. So, I suppose if they had no idea, then he must have done a reasonably good job. There was one area where he may have just made a slight mistake, but he got away with it. So, what was that? One area where he slightly skimped on his research, but he got away with it. It was the Ford Prefect business, choosing his name. So he didn't quite choose a perfect name. He should have chosen a name. What's the most inconspicuous name that you think that if you were an alien and you were coming to England, what name would be quite inconspicuous?
Inconspicuous.
James.
James, yeah, but not James Bond.
Yeah, no, really no.
James Bond is not very inconspicuous.
No,
actually,
no,
he's really not a very good he's not a very good agent at all, because if you are a secret agent, you don't drive a super sports car. So he was slightly conspicuous, but not too bad. He generally got away with it, didn't he? Yeah. Hey, Hazel,
Yes,
can you speak about number 3?
Yes, Ford had found an acting job in the theater. Actually, I didn't catch this. I know he had a talent in acting, but I didn't catch if he had a job in the theater or not.
Okay, so did anybody catch anything with number 3? There was some kind of mention of theatre and acting, but
Mention about his talent in acting, I recall this. but not if he actually had a job in theater or not.
Well, actually, if we listened carefully, maybe I should now go back to doing it with the text. But you know, when you listen, when you have a listening test, you may have the luxury of listening twice or 3 times, but you don't actually see the text. But if we see the text, again, down here, Arthur Dent had absolutely no idea that one of his closest friends was not descended from an ape, but was in fact from a small planet somewhere in the vicinity of Betelgeuse. That means that he did quite a good job. Fadi, you've got big noise. I'm just muting you there. So you've got big noise around you, so keep the mic muted, please. So let's find the bit which is about acting. So that's not about acting. Blending in, blending in. Can I see blending in? Worked hard to blend himself into. Blending in is a phrasal verb.
Yes.
If you blend in, what do you do?
He became like the other
You are mingling?
other people from the earth.
Yes, blend is to mix, isn't it? So
Yes.
if you blend your coffee, you blend the flavours and they all come together. So if you blend in, then you're a very good secret agent.
Yes.
So, and it must be said with some success. So this answers the question that Bain was speaking about.
Oh,
he
yes.
did pretty well, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Pretend to be out.
Now here, though, we have it. Pretending to be an out-of-work actor.
Ha.
Out of work.
You
So he
want
didn't
to say,
actually. So
I
he
have
didn't
part-
had a job in the theater.
That's right. So it's pretending, and there are some places where we might get the wrong answer when we listen in advanced listening tests because they're joking about something, or they're being sarcastic, or they're saying, oh, you're just pretending to be an out-of-work actor. You hear actor, and you think, yes, I heard that word, and you get the wrong answer. So with these advanced level listening questions from IELTS and CAE, you have to really understand a lot.
Yes. Or
It's
listen
quite tricky.
twice. Or
Listen twice, yes. So I think if you don't catch anything, even with the explanations today and going through, just listen and see if you could catch it all with one listening. It's pretty difficult, actually, because it's a long listening too. So now let's have a look at the next one.
It's easy.
So the answer there is
No.
Ford had found an acting job in the theatre. No, he hadn't.
False.
So let's go on down the line to number 4. We've got Quasim, are you there? No sound from you. So Roxana, hello. Mike? Roxana? No Mike? No? Sofiko, hello.
Yes, hello, I'm listening.
Take us through the next one then, please.
Number 4?
Yeah, what happened with number 4? I can't remember. Can you remember anything about number 4? Read it first and then say what you think.
Ford was not particularly tall or good looking. Truly say, I don't remember what was said about his appearance.
Yeah, this is a problem, isn't it? Because we get a long listening, we have to really concentrate. But luckily, when you do these kind of tests, you are in a quiet room and you don't have to work with the internet and other things. You can concentrate. But did anybody concentrate when we were reading about describing his appearance?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
So what should we say, true or false?
True.
So he was not particularly tall or good looking. Let's have a look then and see what was actually said by looking at the script. So down we go.
Handsome or something like that, they said.
He'd made one careless blunder though, because he had skimped a little on his preparatory research. What is skimping, by the way?
Not particularly handsome.
He was not particularly handsome. He was not conspicuously tall. So he didn't really stick out as being quite tall.
And not particularly handsome.
So he was quite inconspicuous, really. So, yeah. So, his hair was wiry and gingerish and brushed back from the temples. His skin seemed to be pulled backwards from the nose. Okay, so we got the right answer maybe for that one. So, that was number 5. No.
4.
4.
It was 4.
Yes. So now we're on number 5. And let's all speak about it. Number 5.
You already said about this, that he had a bad choice.
Yes, he skimped on his research and he chose the name without realizing that he had chosen a car name.
Yes.
It's almost the same as Ford Escort, but they wouldn't make that mistake because Escort is not a family name that I know of. But Prefect is a very unusual family name. All right then, so the next one. Number 6. Who has an idea about number 6?
It's true.
Yeah,
Number
it's
6
true,
is
isn't it?
true.
So
I
we're all
remember
going.
this.
Number 6 is true. Yes, I remember that one because they spoke about. There was something quite funny in the text there.
About his eyes.
When you looked at him, do you remember what happens? You sometimes get the feeling that his eyes are wide open, and there was something about on his behalf. I remember. Does anybody remember those words? On his behalf.
What is the meaning of behalf?
If you do something on behalf of somebody else, what do you do?
In name of somebody, on behalf.
Yes.
It's like for them.
Yeah, it's like in name. You are talking as in name of other group of people. If I talk on behalf of my friends, I am referring of what my friends have said.
You're speaking for them, yes. Your voice is theirs. So you are the spokeswoman or the speaker for them, yes. And I remember quite a funny line, actually. Let me find it in the text about his eyes being open too wide. Perhaps it was. So let me ask somebody to read that paragraph and see if I can get them to read nicely. So maybe, well, Roxana, are you on the mic now? No. Who was speaking just now? Was that Sofiko speaking just now? Who was speaking about on behalf with Hazel and me just now?
Me. It was me.
Yeah, could you read this then?
Yes, of course. Perhaps it was that his eye didn't seem to blink often enough, and when you talked to him for any length of time, your eyes began involuntarily to water on his behalf. Perhaps it was that he smiled slightly too broadly and gave people the unnerving impression that he was about to go for their neck.
Yes, that's good. So his eyes were definitely a bit open, weren't they? We've lost Hazel, unfortunately. I was hoping that Hazel would be back here, but she must have disconnected there somehow. Okay, so here we go. What's next then? So the answer to number 6, Ford's eyes usually stayed open and started to water. Is it true or false?
True.
True. So now 7. Ford was invited to lots of parties. Is that true?
False.
Yes. True.
We've got false and true.
True.
I think it might be...
I think it's false.
I think it might be false, actually. It might be one of those tricky ones that's tricking us into believing it's true, but actually it's false, because there's a key word, invited.
Yeah. Invited, yeah. He attended, in fact, to lots of parties, but he wasn't invited.
Yes, but intended...
Might be like, yeah.
Intended is not intransitive, it's transitive. He intended... He attended
yeah.
lots of parties, yes. So there was a key word which showed that he wasn't invited. Do you remember the key word? Let's look for a key word which shows that he wasn't actually invited. So, and then Bain, maybe you can read it. I'm just looking down. There it is. He struck.
He struck most of the friends that he had made on Earth as an eccentric, but harmless.
A harmless one, maybe. Yes. Oh, I think there's a problem there. Can you just, before we read on, can you see that? How can we correct this? I said, but a harmless one. Maybe I should correct that. Yeah. Yes. Okay, read on then, please. Sorry.
Okay. For instance, he would often gate crash university parties, drink too much, and start making fun of any astrophysicist he could find till he got thrown out.
So, what shows us that he wasn't invited?
The gate crash.
Yes, gate crash is to go into somewhere uninvited or without paying.
Yeah.
And if you say struck, can you explain how that word is used?
I'm not really sure.
Because you don't hit he doesn't hit you, does he? He struck me. It means he made an impression on me. That's the impression he made. So the word he struck me as a friendly type of chap
Like a hit.
he made that kind of impression. So that's a little bit unusual to use that kind of metaphorical sense of making impressions on people. He struck me. He struck most of the friends that he had made on Earth as an eccentric, but a harmless one. For instance, he would often gate crash university parties, drink too much, and start making fun of any astrophysicists he could find till he got thrown out. So he wasn't invited. So that's that, number 7. We've got 3 more to do. Number 8. Right, number 8, true or false?
I don't know.
I was invited to a lot of parties.
This one is a kind of double bluff, I think. So we have to think about this one. Because, again, it was mentioned. So you see, in these advanced listenings like this, you have to really understand what's going on. So what was going on with flying saucers? Maybe we should read through the text now and try and answer those 8, 9 and 10 because they're really quite tricky. So I think we'll go through reading it now, which is cheating, of course, but we'll read it and see if we can find the answer to those questions. So I'm going to post those in the chat to keep them there in the chat, and then we're going to read through to see if those are true or false. The numbers have gone, but maybe I should have done them one at a time. Anyway, let's go and read and see if we can find out what's happening with flying saucers and Ford. Was he looking for them, or was he pretending to look for them, or what? So we'll go round the circle, just reading it all, if that's okay. Ida, can we start with you?
Yep. Arthur then had absolutely no idea that one of his closest friends was not descended from an ape, but was in fact from a small planet somewhere in the
vicinity. The vicinity. Do you know this word? Vicinity. Hi Hazel. Welcome back. I hope are you back in?
Yes, my connection was poor and.
Ah, good. It's nice to have you back. So we're listening to this in a noisy hangout was too difficult sometimes, although we did quite well. So now we're just going to read the text to get the final 3 answers, because we really don't know what was happening with Ford and the flying saucers. Was he pretending to look for flying saucers?
I can answer because I noted down when you were
Oh, I can really. There's really something really wrong with your connection right now. Anyway, Ida, can you just carry on? Where are we? So vicinity means what? In the vicinity of?
Surrounding area.
Surrounding area. Yes. Okay.
Okay. Of Beetlejuice and not from South London, and as he usually claimed. Arthur Dent had never ever suspected this.
Okay. So now, Bain, on to you, please.
Yes. This friend of his had first arrived on the planet some 15 Earth years previously, and he had worked hard to blend himself into Earth society with, it must be said, some success. For instance, he had spent those pretending to be an out-of-work actor, which has plausible enough.
Which was plausible enough. Okay, good. And now down the line, thank you. Let's just continue. So, Hazel. Maybe I have to skip you, Hazel. Just a quick sound test, please, Hazel.
Yes, where are we? He was not conspicuously tall. His features were striking, but not.
You've missed one, Hazel. He made one careless blunder, though.
Yes, he had made one careless blunder, though, because he had skimmed a bit on his preparatory research. The information he had gathered had led him to choose the name Ford Prefect as being nicely inconspicuous.
Inconspicuous, not suspicious.
Inconspicuous.
Suspiciously conspicuous. Yes, okay. Tricky words. But,
yes.
Yeah. I know you know it. So now let's move down the line to Quazim. Are you there, Quazim? On the mic, please. In the room means on the mic. So, okay, Quazim, you must be on the mic, please. Join here. Are you there on the mic? No. So thank you. You can listen from outside. Ivan, you can take over if you can join in quickly. Ivan, are you there? Kazim, are you on the mic? Oh dear, dear. Roxana, yours then.
He was not I don't know how to pronounce that word.
He was not conspicuously tall.
Conspicuously.
Conspicuously. So, yeah, conspicuously tall.
Conspicuously.
Conspicuously. Conspicuously.
Quite difficult to pronounce.
Conspicuously.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Okay, he was not conspicuously tall. His features were striking, but not particularly handsome. His hair was wiry,
yes.
Wiry and high-garish.
Gingerish.
Oh my God!
You know the ginger color?
Yeah,
Reddish.
gingerish.
Reddish?
Gingerish.
Yeah, ish is when you say something is something like that. It's a bluish green, gingerish.
Ginger.
Sort of ginger, kind of ginger color.
Yeah, and gingerish. And brushed backward from the temples. His skin seems to be pulled backwards from the nose. There was something very slightly odd about him, but it was difficult to say what it was.
Yeah, good. Okay. So now down the line, Ursula, can you go on to the next one?
Child continued.
Well, if Ursula's not here, but I'm just trying to see if Ursula Martignac. Hello. Ivan, are you here on the mic?
Who?
I'm looking for Ivan Cicero, and people here are not on the mic. That's what I can't understand.
Hi.
Hi, Ivan. Can you go on? Perhaps it was. Ivan, could you read for us, please?
Okay. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear now.
Okay, I continue the read.
Yeah, please. Perhaps
Yeah.
it was. Yes.
He struck.
No, perhaps.
Perhaps it was that his
Eyes.
eyes didn't see to blink often enough, and when you talked to him for any length of time, your eyes began involuntarily to water on his behalf. Perfect. It was that he smiled slightly too broadly and gave people to the unvarying impression that he was about to go for their neck.
Just one moment. Yeah, sorry, I just have to take.
Okay.
Oh, hello there. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I had to take that because it was an important person calling me to see where I was. So yeah, okay. So let's some of that was good reading, I noticed. So but I wanted you to get the ed endings right sometimes. Talked and that word enough, blink often enough. But
Enough.
good reading.
Enough.
Yeah. So Roxana, we move on to you.
Okay, perhaps he struck. Okay?
He struck, yes.
Okay. He struck most of the friends that he had made on Earth as an
eccentric.
Eccentric.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, an eccentric, but harmless. For instance, he will often gate crash university parties, drink too much, and start making fun of any
astrophysicists.
Astrophysicists he could find till he got thrown out.
Yes. Okay. Good work. So Ursula, are you there?
Yes. Sometimes he would get seized with oddly distracted moods and stare into the sky as if hypnotized
and moods is like food.
Hypnotized until someone asked him what he was doing. Then he would start guiltily for a moment, relax and grin.
Very good. So I can't see the Russian name at the end with the. So who's this there at the end of the line?
Zufar.
Okay, so it's your turn. If you can take the mic, please. So let's go to move the screen up. Are you there on the mic? No? So back to you, Ida.
Yeah. Okay. Just looking for flying saucers. He will joke and everyone will laugh and ask him what sort of flying saucer he was looking for.
Good. So now, Bane?
True.
Yes? Green ones.
Yeah.
He would reply with a wicked grin and laugh wildly for a moment.
Carry on.
In fact, what he was really...
Yeah, carry on.
In fact, what he was really looking for when he started distractedly distractedly into the night sky was any kind of flying saucer at all. The reason he said green was that green is the traditional space livery of the Middle Space Fleet.
Right, now these passages here that we are reading right now are relevant to the next question about flying saucers and pretending to look at them.
Yes, true. So is number 8 true?
Still not sure about your answer though, Hazel, because is he pretending or is he really looking for them? Is he pretending? Is he pretending to pretend?
He was looking. He was really looking.
He
yes.
was, wasn't he? Because he was
Really.
pretending, making a joke that he was pretending to look, but he was really looking.
Really. So.
So.
A tricky question.
It is tricky, this one. Yeah, I thought that was a really nasty question, but you have to really understand what's going on. He wants people to believe that he's not looking for them. So when he's caught looking, he pretends that he's pretending. And he makes a joke out of it. So it's a kind of double bluff, a really nasty question. So, after Bain, we've got Hazel for the Ford. Can you read on a bit, Hazel? 2 for you, please.
Yes. Ford Prefect was desperate that any flying saucer at all would arrive soon because 15 years was a long time to get stranded anywhere, particularly somewhere as mind-bogglingly dull. Mind-bogglingly dull as the Earth.
That's got a spelling mistake. It's not mind-bogglingly, it's mind-bogglingly. So I have to check that one as well. Mind-bogglingly.
Sorry, Leon. What do you mean, mind-boggling?
Mind-boggling is like, wow, I can't even understand how dull this place could be. So actually, it's so dull, it's quite interestingly dull.
Okay.
Mind-boggling.
Mind-bogglingly dull. I mean, it means it. Well, actually, it means it's really amazingly dull. Mind-bogglingly. You can't even comprehend how dull it is. Okay, so Hazel, one more, please.
Later that day, Ford Prefect popped round to see Arthur, who was currently lying down the ground outside his house, trying to prevent it from being demolished by men with bulldozers from the local town.
Bulldozers
from the local town council. The sun was just beginning to dry out the mud that Arthur was laying in. A shadow moved across him. "Hello, Arthur," said the shadow.
Right, now the next bit is about the sarcasm. So I'm going to move down to another reader here. But so, you see, Arthur is actually trying to prevent his house being knocked down. So he's laying down in front of the bulldozers like a protest. And Ford comes along and doesn't really understand some sarcasm. Okay, so after Hazel, we've got
Number 9.
Ivan back again. Ivan, are you there?
I?
Yeah.
Okay. Arthur looked up, and squinting into the sun were startled to see Ford Prefect standing above him. "Ford, hello, how are you?" "Fine," said Ford. "Look, are you busy?" "I am busy," exclaimed Arthur. "Well, I have just got all these bulldozers and the things to lie in front of because they will knock down my house if you don't, but other than that, well, not especially. Why? They don't have sarcasm on Betelgeuse. What do you mean, Betelgeuse?
Betelgeuse is the place where he came from, the alien place, Betelgeuse.
Okay.
So this is all about sarcasm. You see, which bit is sarcastic?
Sarcastic.
Yeah, there's 1 or 2 words in this paragraph which are sarcastic. Which are they?
Squinting.
Maybe squinting, yeah.
Squinting.
I think the sarcastic words are the words which Ford says to Arthur. Am I busy?
Am I busy?
That's not the sarcasm though, but that's the shock. Like, am I busy? What do you mean, am I busy? Am I busy? Exclaimed Arthur. And then the next bit is sarcasm because he says the opposite of what he believes. Well, I've just got all these bulldozers and things to lie in front of because they'll knock my house down if I don't. But then the ending. But other than that, well, not especially.
Not especially.
Here.
So this is the sarcasm.
Yes.
Not especially. You know, of course I'm very busy. It's very important that I stop them knocking my house down. that's all I've got to do, though. So I'm not especially. Why? So, and he didn't understand this because they don't have sarcasm on Beetlejuice. Right. So that's the sarcasm. Actually, I think this kind of sarcasm is a case where it's quite funny sometimes.
Yes.
They say sarcasm is the lowest form of wit, and it can be the lowest form of wit. And Ford Prefect often failed to notice it unless he was concentrating. He said, "Good, is there anywhere we can talk?" It's a bit like when you're learning English, actually. You can miss humour and jokes. You shouldn't really use them too much unless you're actually using them as the subject of what we're doing. It's not good to joke too much when you're in an international kind of conference room or something, because that is the kind of thing which can be misunderstood. So I think it's difficult to use. Okay, so let's go back and just answer the questions then. So I'm going to move back to the questions now. Those last 3 questions, up here. Number 8. Ford was pretending to look for flying saucers.
False. He was really looking to flying saucers.
Yeah.
Yes, and he was caught looking for flying saucers, so he pretended that to make it... Hello? What was that funny noise? So he pretended that he was jokingly looking for flying saucers, but he was really looking because he wanted to get back to his home planet. All right, number 9 then.
It's true.
It's true, you're right.
Yeah, he was trying. And Ford did not understand what Arthur meant.
That's true
Referring
also,
to the
right?
sarcasm, referring to the sarcasm.
It is, and he didn't understand it, did he?
Yes, yes.
So he said, "Okay, then, so we can talk."
Anyway.
Yes, so that's good. But actually, wouldn't it be quite difficult to do this as a listening exercise?
We should listen twice. Maybe if we could listen twice or 3 times, we would be better.
Yes, yes, and probably when we're not talking as well, just concentrating.
I would like to notice something. I've read that book once in my own language, and it was pretty confusing and kind of naughty. So I would say it's pretty difficult to understand, even in your mother tongue, right?
Maybe, yeah. That's an interesting question. I think, well, yes, it's possibly here and there. You're right, sometimes. What about the vocabulary? Was there any difficult vocabulary?
Well, some words,
Yes.
specific word, yeah, but not all the vocabulary.
Let's have a look for difficult vocabulary. So, paragraph 1, I can't see anything very strange apart from Beetlejuice, can you?
Yeah.
So, from an ape, nothing there, is there?
Okay, what is that?
Monkey.
Maybe it's a kind of monkey.
Monkey.
No, that's not difficult. So number 2 is shout out if you see a difficult word. So actually, vocabulary-wise, it's not too bad. I think plausible may be the most difficult word there.
No, it's
Plausible.
No.
It's okay.
Credible, yes.
Credible, plausible, believable, okay. So not too difficult there. Blunder is a big mistake.
Blunder.
Skimped maybe is a word that some people don't know.
Skimped, yes.
If you skimp something, you just quickly pass over it without giving it too much attention.
Like skip.
Yeah, skipping over something means you really miss it. But if you skimp, it's like just skimming the surface is like a stone. If you go to the beach, where I live, there are stones on the beach. We have sand in some places, but we sometimes have pebbles. Do you know what a pebble is?
Yes, small rocks.
Small sea rock, very smooth.
Yes.
Do you know if you get a flat one, you can make it skim across the water? like a kind of bouncing bomb. So skimming, skimping is this kind of idea. This word inconspicuous, we all know now. So if something is conspicuous, there's an idiom I mentioned last time I spoke about this word, about a part of your body sticking out so that everybody can see it, like a... So he is so conspicuous as a secret agent, conspicuous that...
Obvious.
He sticks out like a part of the body. He is so conspicuous that he sticks out like a...
No?
Like a sore... It's strange to imagine, but it's like a sore thumb. You put your thumb up and you put it up in the air and it's really sore and swollen and red. I don't know why they say like a sore thumb, but that one goes, he's so conspicuous that he sticks out like a sore thumb. That's the way that people sometimes say it. And we've got the words strike and struck and striking in quite interesting ways. Now this gingerish, I thought of another word, gingerly. Gingerly. Does anybody know the adverb of ginger, gingerly?
Gingerishly?
Gingerishly as well, yes. What could it mean? So
like ginger, the color of ginger.
Yes, but gingerly is not
reddish.
Colour.
Reddish.
Yes, ginger is that.
Ginger is a spice. Oh, it's awful.
Ginger is a spice, ginger is a colour, but if I say gingerly, do something gingerly, it's nothing to do with painting it or colouring it.
I don't know.
With bad intention or something like that?
It's like furtively. Gingerly. Does it exist in the dictionary with the meaning that I'm trying to describe? Like almost tentatively then, maybe. Tentatively. Tentatively, like you're touching, but you're scared to touch it. Tentatively. You know, you put one toe in the water first and see how it feels. You tentatively put a foot into the water. Gingerly. Gingerly. Yeah, gingerly is similar to that. But is it in the dictionary like that? That's what I was interested to know. I'll have a look later. Okay, so, and the temples, what are they?
Gingerly means cautious in
cautiously,
my
yes.
dictionary.
It is there, good, okay. Yes. So I didn't make it up, did I?
No.
So temples.
Like Buddhist temples.
Ah, no, these are part of your head.
Temples.
Ah, yes, from the head. I didn't read all the
Yes. Text. And okay, so slightly odd means strange.
Yes.
And that's the end then. We've got some quite... Let's just... One more interesting word. So, gate crash, we know that now. Eccentric is quite an unusual kind of strangeness. A kind of person like a mad scientist or something like that. Like the professor in Back to the Future, Einstein.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Eccentric.
So, hypnotized, distracted, guiltily. He felt guilty about it and almost shy, wondering if people were watching him or not. Right. Yes, a wicked grin, evil grin sometimes, wicked grin, yes. Okay, and mind-bogglingly. There's something missing in that word, mind-bogglingly. Has to edit that one, I have to. And demolish something, knock it down.
Yes.
And bulldozer is a kind of building.
Yes.
Yeah, with that big pusher thing at the front, like a snowplow bush, but it knocks the debris and rocks and bricks out the way.
Knock it down?
Bulldozers don't usually, well, they can knock things down, but they just clear up the mess as well. And So that's good. And then startled is a word that's quite interesting. The horses were startled when I walked into the field at night. Woo, like this, whoa, suddenly surprised. And it's a kind of word that you use when you want to say that there was an immediate reaction. They were startled. Yeah, okay then, thanks a lot. That's it. Pretty difficult work, but well done.
Yeah.
I'm off to do another lesson now. So
Okay,
see you
bye.
later.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.